I'm just starting recording it, so okay, so hello. Today we're gonna be watching embarrassingly dumb ways people died. Darwin Award winners part 5, and it's by Be Amazed. So yeah, and I'm here with my friend who's reacting too. So yeah. Okay. What just happened? I tried to go full screen and my things broke. Okay, are you ready to start the video? 3, 2, 1, stop.
Sometimes it really does seem like the world is getting dumber. That may be partly due to the fact that our incredible social systems of medicine, community, and welfare have effectively wiped out natural selection for us humans. But every once in a while, someone worthy of a Darwin Award removes themselves from the gene pool like a deer with a penchant for highway jogging. Join me now as I take a look at some of the most mind-bogglingly dumb ways people have died. Leap of faith. In May of 2019, a car chase left a criminal in a tough spot. The Brooklyn man was wanted for a carjacking when he made his first dumb move, crashing into a police car, triggering a high-speed chase. His second and most lasting mistake came later, after the pursuit left him trapped between multiple pursuing police cars on the Brooklyn Bridge. Rather than hand himself over, he went with the Grand Theft Auto method. He assumed that jumping over the railing down to the ground below would allow him to escape with little more than a scratch or two. So over he went, and while he did indeed get away, he did so in a body bag.
He got
Remember
away
your
from
roots.
life.
There are many embarrassing ways to die, but falling victim to the wrath of a root vegetable has to be near the top. When out on a hunting trip in 1881, British politician Sir William Payne Galloway entered the annals of ridiculous history when he slipped and fell onto a turnip. The turnip, renowned by his fellow turnips as a violent brute, caused severe internal injuries to the politician, and he died that day, age 74. Turns out vegetables aren't so good for you after all. World's longest breath holder. I could think of better ways to spend a Saturday night than a breath holding contest, but apparently boredom was at an all-time high for a New Jersey man in August 2018. Rather than holding the competition between friends on the safety of dry land, the man decided to hold his breath underwater on Lake St. Clair in Georgia. 7 minutes passed before anyone noticed anything was wrong. And this time, the undisputed winner of the contest had fallen unconscious and drowned, proving that real winners never give up. Cigarette burns. Made by an elderly lady in Haltern am See, Germany, brought a quick end to her own treatment plan in 2018. The lady, who was wheelchair-bound from sickness, wheeled herself outside for a nice, relaxing smoke. She seemed to forget that she was wearing an oxygen ventilator, which ignited when she lit her cigarette, setting fire to the plastic upholstery of her wheelchair. She was engulfed in deadly flames and scorching plastic and died soon after. Everyone knows smoking's bad for your health, but usually its effects aren't so explosive.
There's multiple ways
bees.
you can die from smoke.
Picture this relaxing scene.
Burning your wheelchair on fire.
On a comfy massage table, enjoying some nice therapeutic music, when someone forcibly stings you with multiple bees. Surprisingly, this is something people willingly go through on a regular basis, supposedly to relieve stress and muscle tension, and is a form of alternative medicine known as live bee acupuncture. All the bees that are used die in the process, but in 2018, they finally got their own revenge. You see, every time a person is stung by a bee, their chances of suffering an allergic reaction increase. But for one woman who was unaware of this fact, her reaction came as a total surprise after having the treatment so many times. The woman immediately lost consciousness following one of the stings, and soon died of a severe allergic reaction. Don't mess with bees. Nick Cage knows this, and so should you. Escalator to heaven. You've heard of the stairway to heaven, but what about the fast track version? The only catch is, you never actually get to the top. This is the fate that met the guitar player from a heavy metal band whose name is so obscene YouTube would implode if I were to say it.
I mean,
a
I'm
musical
not
career dedicated to
surprised
causing
if
as
he's
much
from a
controversy
heavy
as possible culminated in a rather
probably like
unclimactic end when he
drunk and
attempted to
high
ride his way
on an
along the rail of an escalator. He lost his
escalator.
balance, plummeted over
Why
the
would
edge,
you
and
do
died
that?
on impact.
I mean, like,
His head struck a
everybody has
food court
wanted to
table,
do that,
presumably
but
turning
like
some
nobody's,
unfortunate kid's Happy Meal
everybody's
into a
thought.
horror meal. Taking selfies to new heights.
Yeah, like
Some
everybody
people
wants
go
to
to
do
great
that,
lengths
but
for that
everybody
perfect
has at
selfie.
least
But
2
apparently,
IQs, so
these
they know
great
not to
lengths
do
should
it.
never exceed 99 feet. The world learned this fact in 2018 when a British woman and her Australian boyfriend were found dead on a beach in
Australian?
Portugal. Piecing the evidence together,
Down
police
under
concluded that the couple had been sat atop a 100-foot wall overlooking
What
the
the
beach
fuck
when
is
they
wrong
dropped
with
the phone they'd been snapping vacation pics on. They both reached to grab the phone, which had
You're-
landed on a ledge just below them. Unfortunately, they both lost
Yeah,
their
I would
balance
rather
and plunged
keep my
the full
life and
distance
just
to the ground
spend a
below.
little bit
As
longer
if to
getting a
symbolize
phone
technology's
than, like,
inevitable takeover of the
kill
human race,
yourself
the
for the
phone the
phone.
couple gave their lives trying to save remained on the wall, unscathed. Trouble in the
Trouble
tub.
in the bathtub.
We're taught from a young age that water
This
and
guy get
electricity don't
electrocuted?
mix. But for some people, this never quite sinks in. For some, the comfort of having an electronic device on hand at all times overrides the need to, remain alive. A Londoner learned the error of this mindset in 2017 when he tried charging his phone while in the bath. As he
What the
relaxed in the tub, he balanced an extension cord on his chest, keeping it out of the water. What happened next is unclear, but the situation isn't too hard
Yeah,
to fathom.
maybe the
Whether he
extension
slipped
cord
or whether he
fell in there.
absentmindedly dunked his phone in the water,
Yeah,
he was
maybe
killed by
don't
the
even use
ensuing
your
shock.
phone in the tub.
Fussy eater. Everybody loves the hearty goodness of a home-cooked meal, assuming at least one person in the house can
I mean,
cook.
at least it doesn't
But
have,
renowned mathematician Kurt Gödel
can't
took
remember what
his
it's
love
called.
of his wife's home cooking to ridiculous levels. Despite, or perhaps because of, his brilliance as a mathematician, Gödel was an extremely paranoid man. His paranoia grew to the point where in his later years he refused to eat anything that hadn't first been tasted or prepared by his wife. Believing himself to be at the center of a poisoning plot, when his wife was hospitalized for 6 weeks in 1977 and hence was unable to cook for her husband, Gödel stopped eating. By the end of January 1978, he had died of malnutrition, weighing only 65
What?
pounds when he died.
30
In the end, through his
kgs in it,
desperation
what
to
the
avoid being murdered, he was the one responsible for his own death. It really goes to show, if you want
30
something done right,
kgs? I
do it
weigh
yourself.
more than that. Holy.
Hungry for more? While
Hungry
some dumb deaths are caused by no eating at
Oh.
all, occasionally someone will kick the bucket because of the total opposite. In this case, the bucket was filled to the brim with sticky, delicious sweet rolls. Adolf Fredrik, king of Sweden from 1751 to 1771, wasn't a
So
particularly
20
good king.
years, so probably.
He was regarded as lacking the aptitude, fortitude, and integrity necessary for successful kingship. But what he lacked as a king, he made up for with his appetite. He was a lover of food with a sweet tooth, and it can never be said that his eyes were bigger than his belly. But while the amount of food he consumed on his last meal in February 1771 did exceed the limitations of his large belly, he finished it nonetheless. After a heaping feast of seafood, sauerkraut, and champagne, he moved on to dessert. This consisted of no less than 14 Swedish sweet rolls, all dipped in
14?
hot
No,
milk
what?
flavored with cinnamon and raisins. While he was
Oh,
reportedly
that's just
stockpiling for the Christian
disgusting.
tradition of
I
Lent,
couldn't
he
even eat
clearly
3 of
overshot
those.
his mark as his digestive system completely shut down and he died. Just goes to show, death by cake isn't as sweet as it sounds. A cut above the vest. Nobody wants to be conned when making a purchase. Indeed, being sold a stab-proof vest that offers the protection of a wet noodle is hardly an ideal scenario. But it should
Well,
go
at
without
least
saying
ramen
that testing the
noodles
stabability
can
of such
fix
vests
anything,
should be
apparently.
done with at least one qualifying factor. Taking the vest off first. Unfortunately, that first rule of Stab Club whistled in one ear, through the empty skull cavity, and out the other ear of one Englishman in 2018. Mistakenly believing his jacket was stab-proof, the man took a knife and plunged it into his jacket while at the kitchen table. It turned out the jacket wasn't stab-proof, and funnily enough, neither was he. Before I get to the dumbest death magnets of the bunch, let's take a look at some contenders who somehow managed to avoid qualifying for a Darwin Award by surviving their stupidity. This electrician clearly trained with the best, because after all, there's no better insulator than a nice cool puddle of muddy water. Another top-of-the-class graduate of the Elite Electricians Academy is this fellow, who's also in on the secret that water and electricity are actually a great mix. But the rubber industry doesn't want you to know that. For any Darwin Award nominees watching, that was a joke. Anyway, this next close contender seems to be pulling a prank with a fuel-depleted chainsaw held alarmingly close to his nether region. But the risk-to-reward ratio of this particular prank earns this guy a firm position in the At-Risk Darwin Award Survivors Club. That's just no place for a chainsaw, joke or not. The
what does the
final at-risk
chainsaw
survivor
work,
is
though?
this fellow who let rage overcome any shred of rational thought. While his friend drives, he takes the noble position of car puncher, hanging out of the car window and attacking the hard walls of another vehicle with his bare hands. Like the genius he so clearly is. As his car swerves, he accidentally opens his door and tumbles gracefully onto the highway. Hey, at least he stuck the landing. Though if this is his reaction to a bit of road rage, I feel like his Darwin Award isn't too far away over the horizon.
He probably thinks it's like GTA where you can just like
video games, movies,
jump out your
and
car,
TV
roll on the
shows have led
ground,
us
lose
on to
like
believe
half your
that
health.
clearing a rising drawbridge in a car is a viable feat. It isn't. But that realization never occurred to a couple of wannabe Texan stuntmen who put their inflated senses of their own abilities to the test in May 2019. Witnesses reported seeing a car's passenger lift the barrier of the Black Bayou drawbridge in Louisiana before the car sped off up the rising ramp. Now, admittedly, some people do occasionally survive these jumps, like this distracted driver who didn't even realize the bridge had begun to rise before cruising over the top to the other side. But these people are the minority and should be taken as representative of the majority. Because the majority,
imagine if somebody did that and the
follow a
bridge
learning
just
curve
collapsed.
that's steeper than the downward path of their car. However, any learning was short-lived in this case, as the Texan pair were trapped in their car after it failed to make the jump to the other side. They sank and soon drowned. Put simply, they were neither fast nor furious enough. Which Darwin Award winner do you think was the stupidest?
Those people are idiots. Who would do that? Oh my god. He's the biggest idiot. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed a react. Yeah, so I thought I would try a new type of video, a reacting video, and hope you liked it, and bye.